He's been England's top marksman a record 6 seasons in succession. He's won 80 caps and he's the second highest scorer in the history of English international football. Welcome to Gary Lineker's 48 goals for England.
Lineker's in! Oh, he's outpaced them. Gary Lineker scores for England.
Gary's come a long way since turning professional in November 1978, helping Leicester to one second division title and enjoying huge popularity with Everton. He captured the hearts of Catalonia during a successful stay at Barcelona and inspired Spurs to FA Cup glory. But when Gary made his England debut as substitute for Tony Woodcock against Scotland at Hampden, the idea of finishing only 1 goal behind Bobby Charlton's record 49 must have seemed a long way off. In fact, Gary did it in 26 fewer internationals than Bobby and averaged 1.2 goals every 2 games. That incredible run of scoring began at Wembley in March 1985 against the Republic of Ireland. It was Gary's first full match for his country, and he wore the number 10 shirt that he was soon to make his own.
Strong header again by McCarthy. Sort of treatment that's Haley had, Davenport's had, but a good play by Davenport, and Lineker's in! Lineker scores the second for England after some superb work there by Peter Davenport. A magnificent pass that opened up the way for the Leicester striker, and some good, cool finishing there by Lineker.
So Gary made his full debut an occasion to remember.
I think it was only probably playing my first full game at Wembley against Era when I really got that extra special buzz that I was pulling on an England shirt and going out with the rest of the team. And it was just it was a wonderful feeling. It was a very proud moment, not just for myself, but my family and friends as well. It was nice for them, and you probably don't appreciate it as much until afterwards, because when you actually do it, you're probably a little bit nervous, too nervous perhaps, to really appreciate it.
Well, Gary certainly didn't look nervous as he beat the goalkeeper here with the apparent calm and coolness which has become such a hallmark of his game. 3 months later, and across the Atlantic for a showpiece match with the USA in Los Angeles. With England hoping to qualify for the 1986 World Cup and no established pattern to the team's forward line, the moment was perfect for Gary to prove his ability.
This is Dixon. Hoddle. Lineker! That's a superb piece of finishing by Gary Lineker of Leicester City. What a smart piece of opportunism. Beautifully taken. No wonder he looks pleased. Glenn Hoddle was the player who initiated that with the chipped pass forward beyond the defence. But Lineker took that on the chest and in the same movement volleyed with his right foot beyond a helpless Mauser. England in front after 13 minutes through Gary Lineker, his second international goal. Brian Robson looking for Kerry Dixon. And Dixon getting round the back there, and Chris Waddle is coming in. And Lineker is there as well. That's by with a line. It's 3-0 for England. Lineker going in to finish off. A header back by Waddle. And England score right at the beginning of the second half. Kerry Dixon here was the provider with the cross. It floated beyond the new goalkeeper. Chris Waddle got in a header which went down, And Gary Lineker, perhaps with the help of the number 4 there, Cantor, forced the ball over the line.
This display of quick-witted opportunism meant that when England really needed goals, lots of them, in a vital World Cup qualifier against Turkey, one man was an obvious choice. He didn't let them down.
Waddle wins it back. And after assessing one or two other options, Wilkins went for the most difficult pass. Waddle. Stevens is onside. And Lineker, 2-0. England very much in the groove. Turkey torn apart again. And Stevens with the presence of mind to look up and find the head of Lineker. Hoddle. He'd hardly find as much room as that in a practice match. Stevens goes on, Robson's gone to the near post. Lineker! It's 4. And England promised a night of celebration. And that's certainly the way it's turning out. Again, it's the Stevens-Lineker combination. The header buried in the corner. Impishly done. Robson. Ismail has stuck to his task better than most for Turkey. But here's Waddle again. Lineker. Is this the hat-trick? It is! A very special moment indeed. 3 goals for your country, as Gary Lineker has done here. In the 9th minute of the second half, Turkey had given the ball away. And Lineker made space for himself.
A superb strike, proving that Gary's finishing was just as deadly from long range as from 2 yards out, and helping England to a 5-0 victory. And so it was off to Mexico, where England had to face the heat and the altitude, as well as the most formidable opposition in the world. Bobby Robson had selected and composed a fast, mobile forward line, quite unlike the traditional British strike force. But after disappointing games against Portugal and Morocco, and with Gary nursing a fractured wrist, England desperately needed a result against Poland in Monterrey.
Matisik. And tigerish work from Sanson. And a splendid ball forward from Hoddle. And Beardsley and Lineker, who linked up so well together in Tbilisi. Sharp then. The third player involved is Trevor Steven, and it's Gary Stevens. Lineker! The World Cup campaign at last is on the move. And Bobby Robson will be thrilled with the interplay between Beardsley and Lineker that started it, and then Trevor Steven and Gary Stevens, an all-Everton goal finished off by Lineker. Beardsley, superbly done for Hodge. Lineker is in the middle. Lineker! Brilliant! They're tearing Poland apart. A change of style for Bobby Robson. And Gary Lineker relishing the service after Beardsley had found Hodge. Again, the finish was sharp and sure. Twice inside 14 minutes, the ball has been in Młynarczyk's net. Fennick joining Butcher towards the near post. Młynarczyk has misjudged it, and Lineker has a hat-trick from a goalkeeping error. "35 minutes gone, 35 minutes,
in which Gary Lineker has etched his trademark on the 1986 World Cup finals. That one was a gift, but he was there, and the chances today are all ending up in the back of the net.
Gary's second hat-trick for his country, but the importance of that first goal in settling down a nervous England team can't be underestimated.
Looking back at favourite goal, I think the favourite one's got to be the most important one. A goal which changed England's fortunes in the '86 World Cup. The first one against Poland. Probably not the best goal I've ever scored, but it was a good team goal, a good move. Resulting in, it was just a question of getting in front of the defender and just getting a touch on it. Not particularly spectacular in any way, but certainly important. Before that, we'd struggled in the first two games. We had to win to get through to the next round, and that relaxed everybody, got us playing again, and after that things got a lot better.
They certainly did get better, and the England faithful flocked to the Azteca Stadium for the next match against Paraguay.
Lineker against Chetina. Now Stevens. England trying to pick a way through and then power a way through. Hoddle and Lineker. Here's Hodge. Lineker!
It was the jolt. We've done it.
31 minutes gone. Well rescued on the far side by Hodge. The goalkeeper lost it, and an open goal for Lineker, who adds to his prodigious season. And England pushing out, leaving some rather tired Paraguayans in their wake. There's plenty of running ahead of Hoddle from Lineker and from Stevens. Three waiting for a cross. And here's Tottenham's Gary Stevens. And here's Lineker, onside, 3-0. Argentina surely awake now.
Hoddle at his subtle best, well run Stevens, super goal.
Hoddle of Tottenham to Stevens of Tottenham, and Gary Lineker, the predator again, close to goal.
So Gary, now the competition's leading scorer, setting the Azteca alight. With Peter Beardsley adding a third, Bobby Robson had brought England to a World Cup quarter-final for the first time since 1970. But their opponents in the quarter-finals were the Argentinians, and they scored goals by any means that came to hand. Maradona's first effort showed one finishing technique that has never been in Gary's repertoire. With 10 minutes to go, England were 2-0 down and looked to be out of it.
Well, it was flicked on by Fenwick. Back from Gary Stevens. Lineker trying to screen it away. Barnes is there. Partly away by Ruggeri. Sansom able to keep the pressure on with the help of Hodge, who just got back on side. Now Barnes with his first real run. And Lineker!
Superb play by Barnes. And they'll give him a boost.
Lineker's first real sight of goal. And he made it count.
In the 86th minute, England had one last attempt to level the scores.
And now Barnes, he's made one. Can he make a second and save England? He's got the better of Enrique. Goal! Lineker was inches away.
And so England were out of the World Cup. Gary twisting a knee ligament with that final attempt. And how close he was. But he'd won the Golden Boot as the competition's highest scorer, and with a pat on the back from the manager, Gary returned home a star. 4 months later, and Gary had been enjoying success with Barcelona, where he'd scored 5 goals in 9 Spanish League appearances, when he returned home to resume his partnership with Peter Beardsley, here making his Wembley debut for a European Championship qualifier against Northern Ireland.
So Hoddle can try now from the other side, changing the angle here. Watson's in, Butcher's there, and Lineker's also there. And Gary Lineker puts England ahead after 33 minutes. Phil Hughes given little chance from close range. And Gary Lineker, top goal scorer in the World Cup finals, pounces here, Butcher first, then Lineker. This is Whiteside, and now it's Nigel Worthington. Whiteside again. Certainly given everything, but it was his club colleague Brian Robson who robbed him. There are 10 minutes left here. England lead 2-0, and Glenn Hoddle is in there again. And there goes Lineker. That's a lovely effort, and a fine goal, beautifully taken. And the Beardsley-Lineker combination works again. Lineker's second of the match. Phil Hughes beaten by a classic goal. Glenn Hoddle takes marks for winning it in midfield. Peter Beardsley saw the possibilities, but Gary Lineker, holding off McClelland, chipped the goalkeeper magnificently.
3-0 the final score, a standing ovation from the fans, and words of praise from the boss.
Gary, I said, what a goal to score at Wembley, you know. I mean, if I'd been a good player, I would have loved to have scored a goal like that at Wembley. And he's done it. I would have thought it's captivated the crowd here. It's probably brightened the looks of a lot of people sitting at home on television who have watched it. And I think it's put 20,000 people on the next gate, quite frankly.
A classic Lineker goal, foresight, acceleration and supreme intelligence. Next came a visit to the mighty Bernabeu Stadium for a friendly with Spain. The hosts took an early lead through Butragueño, but Gary was determined to impress the Spanish fans who now knew him as Gary Goal.
Brian Robson breaking things up. Waddle looks for Beardsley, who did well there on the outside of Arteche. Hodges there, it may run to Lineker. It has run back for Robson. Oh, hits the post, Hoddle, saved by Zubizarreta. And surely a chance at the far post here. And a goal. Gary Lineker finishes it off for England and makes it 1-1. And a deserved goal it was too, because England worked that ball really well. Lineker is the scorer. Well, this match was billed by many people as the classic clash of the two goal scorers, Butragueño of Spain and Lineker of England, and in the opening 25 minutes, both have shown us why. For the moment, England have a free kick, for which Viv Anderson and Terry Butcher have both gone forward. Anderson is there, Lineker's there again! 2-1 to England, and they can't contain him. The Spaniards can't stop this man in their first division, and they can't stop him tonight in the international arena either. Hoddle curled the free kick in, Viv Anderson jumped first, Gary Lineker was poaching again. Cordelia, Camacho, broken up by Waddle. Header forward there was by Adams. This is Victor, number 5 for Spain. Gallego, the sweeper. Peter Beardsley tries to get a tackle in. Oh, and Lineker has got Beardsley in a good position here. And Lineker may score again, and he has. He's got his hat-trick. Well, that is a quite superb night's work for Gary Lineker. That shot came back off Zubizarreta, and Lineker was in the right place again. We've been playing now for 12 minutes in the second half here in the Bernabeu Stadium, and England still look dangerous with Beardsley. And there's Lineker again. He's got his fourth. Wow, this is extraordinary. Nobody surely expected this. Gary Lineker has scored all four, doing for England here better than he's ever done before. That was again a very smart finish. Zubizarreta might have been a little bit disappointed, but what a good piece of play again by England. The ball was moved about skillfully. Lineker got his shot in. It didn't seem to be going too far away from Zubizarreta's left hand, but it's 4-1, and Lineker has got the lot.
And although Ramon pulled one back for Spain, Bobby Robson could feel well satisfied that the quick-fire passing and almost telepathic understanding between Lineker and Beardsley had again proved devastating.
How can I break up the Beardsley and Lineker combination? They've never let us down. They've played superbly together on all the matches that they've played together. We went into Russia with these two kids, you know, before the World Cup, and they were superb in Russia, and they've just gone on from strength to strength. Sure, Lineker will get all the headlines tomorrow, and he deserves that, and he might have finished with 6. In fact, he is sick, actually, that he didn't get 6. But Beardsley's partnership and work effort around Lineker was superb on the night, and the 2 second half goals scored by Lineker were both beautifully made by Beardsley, so he's got to come in there for a lot of praise.
Yeah, I think I'd like to give a tremendous amount of credit to Peter, because the way he plays certainly suits me, because he more or less gives me the licence of the box where it's my strength, and he does all the work. His build-up play's superb, he takes people on, he's always a threat, and I think since he's been in the side, it's just made it better for me, and I've had so many chances, basically through his unselfish play.
Yes, just look at the way Beardsley draws the defenders to him. It allows Gary the space to run into, so that when the pass is delivered, he has that extra split second to place his shot to perfection. Next up, a Rouse Cup match against Brazil at Wembley, where Gary had an unusual spot of bother with his boots. As he rejoins the play, he's actually wearing odd ones. In the event, he didn't need either to bring his England total to 19 goals, just a little help from Peter Beardsley.
Nice little touch there by Valdo. Butcher, straight forward with the header. Pearce, straight forward with the pass to Reed. Simple ball this time to Robson. Now finding Beardsley. And on this evening's form, nobody better to find. Look at that for acceleration. Costin! What a goal by Lineker! What a superb England goal! Well, he's done it again, Gary Lineker. And the man who made it again is this fella, Peter Beardsley. What about this for acceleration? And what a superb little cross. And then a flying Couchin-like header, and England into the lead, a goal to nil. From another angle now, always worth a view. Brilliant play by Beardsley, delightful little cross, flying header by Lineker, England ahead.
And then England went to Dusseldorf. The German bench was still celebrating 2 early goals when Beardsley found Lineker, and Lineker found the net. It was a fearsome tackle from Peter Reed which won the ball, and Beardsley again who ripped open the defence. Goal number 20 for Gary, but England 3-1 losers on the night. Back to Wembley a month later in monsoon conditions for a match against Turkey. England had taken an early lead and had to win to qualify for the European Championships.
There goes Lineker, marked by Semir, the number 3. That's a man-to-man plan by the Turks. Giving it away, Sansom. Oh, and Lineker! 2-0! England are 2 up in 8 minutes. And Lineker extends still further his goal record for Bobby Robson. And Kenny Sansom takes the credit. It was a bad pass out, but his reaction was instant, and so was Lineker's.
5 minutes later, Barnes added another, but this was to be Gary's night.
Robson. Lineker's touch. Robson. Webb. Now Barnes. Sansom again makes a run from left back. Not covered. Robson's there. And he's still there. And Beardsley's also there. And Lineker must. And does. Turkey flat out for the count, and England make it 4. Brian Robson's presence in the penalty area important here. He made the opening, the goalkeeper missed it, Beardsley crossed, Lineker's first shot scrambled away, the second one true to form in the back of the net. I think one or two of the England players, stung by the criticism after the West Germany defeat, have just dug in a bit tonight as Robson plays the ball through to Lineker, and Lineker has scored another hat-trick for England. Robson supplied the pass, which bisected the defence, and Lineker has written his name all over another England performance. 71 minutes gone. Brian Robson drills the ball through, perfectly delivered, and there are no better finishers in world football, surely, than Lineker in that position.
England made it 8 in all and qualified for Holland. Bobby Robson could feel justly proud of his key striker, who'd scored 23 goals in 22 games. Before the European Championships, though, a significant warm-up against the hosts, Holland, including the most expensive footballer in the world, £5.7 million worth of Ruud Gullit. Barcelona paid less than half of that for Lineker 2 years earlier.
Stevens, long ball looking for Lineker. Oh, he's outpaced them. Gary Lineker scores for England. What a beautiful goal. Stevens with a superb pass that caught the Dutch napping, and this is Lineker's speciality. The pace is what counts, but so too is the composure and the coolness with which he steers the ball past Van Breukelen and gives England the lead in the 14th minute. It was old-fashioned stuff, if you like, the orthodox ball pumped forward, but look how Lineker has got goal side of Siloi and jabs it past the goalkeeper.
(2-2) the outcome, and another standing ovation after a game that augured well for England's chances in Europe. And what about that goal?
Well, it's a great ball from Gary Stevens, and it bounced nicely for him. I think I was pushed a little bit, but I saw it just fell right, so I just took a chance and hit it in.
Once more, the key to the goal was Gary's pace. It brought his strike rate to 24 goals in 24 games. But as usual, he was more concerned about the team.
I'm quite pleased with it, naturally, but hopefully it'll continue when it's more important in the European Championship.
2 months later, Wembley again, and a Rouse Cup match against Colombia. An occasion to be remembered by the visiting bench. England needed only a draw to win the trophy.
Sansom back out again to Waddle. Garcia. Alvarez, a bit elaborate there. This is Robson, well played. Waddle. Lineker. Oh yes, it's there! Super goal by Gary Lineker. Chris Waddle, the provider. That's terrific stuff from England's attack. It happened so quickly, Colombia didn't know what had hit them. The ball swung in, and Lineker's flick header off the inside of the post, and England are in front after 23 minutes.
Colombia pulled one back, but that goal won England the Rouse Cup and took Gary over halfway towards Bobby Charlton's record. Another friendly the next week, and this time in Switzerland, where Bobby Robson's main concern for the forthcoming championships was the scarcity of England's goals. One man alone seemed to be scoring them all.
Barnes. And again Barnes. This is out to Geiger, won by Robson. I think he's beginning to get a little bit irritated. No flag this time, and here is Peter Beardsley. Lineker is up with him, and England have a 1-0 lead. But I have to say, I think the linesman who called a curious offside a few moments ago kept his flag down then, when I believe he should have raised it. But England have the goal. Beardsley, not for the first time in his international career, supplying Lineker, who certainly not for the first time in his career finds a telling finish.
Offside or not, and the replay suggests not, it was a beautifully worked goal, typical of Beardsley and Lineker. But in Holland it wasn't to be, and with Gary stricken by hepatitis and unable to score, England failed to win a point. They made an early exit from the tournament. Wembley, April '89, and England were keen to put memories of Holland behind them. With their key striking partnership back in business, they faced Albania in a World Cup qualifier. Gary hadn't scored an international goal for 11 months, but the drought was about to end.
Geiger. Oh, well played, Beardsley. Robson. Waddle. Free kick was given. Waddle again. Oh, what a chance for England to take the lead. Gary Lineker has got the goal that he's waited for so long. Nearly a year, in fact, for England, and it was presented to him by a really bad defensive mistake. Lineker's international drought is over. Waddle's cross, Yerra with the header, and Lineker just had to nod that past a stranded goalkeeper after 5 minutes. And the left back will have nightmares about this. He headed the ball back into Lineker's path, and the 17-year-old keeper had no chance.
So, a welcome return to scoring form as England walked out 5-0 victors. Next, Poland at Wembley for another World Cup qualifier, and a match that the Polish coach Wojciech Łazarek would rather forget.
Here's Barnes. And Lineker! And Lineker, surely! It's in! England have taken the lead. John Barnes with the pass. Lineker into the goalkeeper first time. And then from a tight angle, right foot, that's over the line as Brian Robson dives in. And England have taken the lead just when we really needed it.
England made it 3-0 that night, 2 vital points closer to the finals in Italy. Next, it was off to Copenhagen for the first of a pair of friendly matches against Denmark.
This is Lineker. Webb took it well. Lineker onside. Goal number 29 for Gary Lineker. One of the easiest he's scored. Goals in consecutive matches, and it was really started by Rocastle when he first won the ball. But Webb set up the whole thing. And Lineker got away. They're pleading for offside, but the linesman absolutely level, keeps his flag down.
On to March 1990 and a full house at headquarters where England entertained the Brazilians again. This time it was a friendly.
Barnes flick. Oh, Lineker! Gary Lineker scores the opening goal from a well-rehearsed corner. They're pleased on the bench. 36 minutes. And Lineker, here's Beardsley's corner kick. Now watch John Barnes. There's the flick on. Platt couldn't make it. Lineker could.
That goal won the match and brought Gary level with Tom Finney and Nat Lofthouse in the all-time England scorers list on 30 goals. 2 months later, a return match against Denmark, again at Wembley. We joined the match in the second half.
Little pull then by Sieverbeck. Quickly taken free kick, and again Hodge is free. Lineker! Yes, it's given. Yes, it's given. The linesman has run back to the middle immediately. For a moment then, I thought it was going to be disallowed. Gary Lineker scoring in the 55th minute, his 31st for England.
And so, in optimistic mood, Bobby Robson led his team to Italia 90. England were stationed in Sardinia and met the Republic of Ireland in their first game in Group F. Every Englishman was keen to avenge the defeat in the European Championships 2 years earlier.
Waddle. And Lineker sneaking in, a chance for England here. Is it going in? It is! And Gary Lineker has put England in front. With the celebrations going on all over the pitch, Waddle and Gascoigne doing a little dance out of your picture. But it's the predatory instincts of Gary Lineker that get England off to a flying start, with Chris Waddle on the right wing, providing the ball in, beautifully delivered. Lineker chested it past the goalkeeper, ran on and just stabbed it over the line, pursued by two Irish defenders. A wonderful start for England.
Kevin Sheedy's equaliser spoiled the revenge, but a goalless draw with Holland and victory over Egypt meant that England finished top of Group F and could pack their bags for the next stage of the competition in Bologna. David Platt's last-minute winner against Belgium put England into the quarter-finals, where they now faced a Cameroon side whose performance on the pitch was rather more impressive than their World Cup song. There were a few lumps in the throat for this one, and spanners in the works. Cameroon were a revelation and lead 2-1 as we join the match in the second half.
Won by Massing. Right, Lineker! Penalty! Turned on it beautifully, Lineker, and Nkono complains, but there was no doubt about that. As Lineker turned, he had his legs swept away from him. Never a more vital penalty for England. It's all square! And suddenly the expressions change. And it's the flags of St George and the captain who's been substituted who come to their feet to demand more. What coolness under pressure from Gary Lineker.
England still in it then, thanks to his experience and composure. And how often Gary won the penalties he scored from.
Tato, Keke lets it run. Makanaki wasn't alive to the possibility. Gascoigne drives the limbs again. And here's Lineker! And he's brought down. A penalty. Massing again in the challenge with the goalkeeper. A penalty is given. The goalkeeper and the defender converged. Lineker went down. Bobby Robson turns away to go back to the bench, then looks back again over his shoulder. Stands staring and shouting as in comes Lineker and scores! England lead by 3-2. 2 goals for Gary Lineker from the penalty spot.
So England went through, but how had Gary coped with the pressure?
Well, when he actually gave them, particularly the first one, I had negative thoughts for a while. I was starting to think that if I missed out, probably wouldn't be allowed in the country and awful things like that. Then I just told myself just to think of nothing, set where I was going to put it. And I put the ball down, I felt a lot better, and as I stepped back, I felt confident that I was going to hit it where I wanted to hit it, and then it was just hoping that it went in, and that's what happened. And the same with the second one.
The headlines were corny, but Gary had won England a place in the semi-finals against West Germany. After a goalless first half, Bremer's deflected shot had put England in desperate straits with only 10 minutes to go before full time.
This is Wright. And now it's Parker. Well, they were appealing for offside. The Germans, and they're in trouble. Alcantara couldn't do it. Lineker probably could. And England have equalised. It's Gary Lineker. The ace marksman keeps England in the World Cup. With just 10 minutes to go, the German defence got itself into a terrible tangle, and how they were made to pay. It's a long ball by Paul Parker. Kohler and Alcantara are in a mess. Lineker picks his spot with a beautiful left footer across the goalkeeper. It's 1-1.
The 35th goal of Gary's career, and surely none more important or better taken. There were no goals in extra time, so it went to the dreaded penalty shootout, with Gary the obvious choice for England's first. This wouldn't, incidentally, count in his final tally. He made no mistake. And the relief was obvious. But it all went horribly wrong with Chris Waddle, and England were out in the cruelest possible way. So it was ciao to Italia 90, but England returned home to a hero's welcome. 2 months later at Wembley sees Gary in a new role as captain. A new manager too, Graham Taylor. The referee's familiar though, Erik Fredriksson of Sweden, who allowed Maradona's Hand of God goal. The opposition this time, Hungary.
Gascoigne, and now Platt, gone a bit wide. Gascoigne tries, Lineker does! And the first goal for England under Graham Taylor is scored by the new captain in the last minute of the first half.
And that's certainly the way to keep the new boss happy. And 1 month later, Gary made his 60th appearance against Poland in a European Championship qualifier.
Right, Lineker, off the line, was it in? Was it in or not? Was it handball? Penalty, handball on the line. Kaczmarek looks at the referee, but he's given the penalty kick for handball. Taken. Absolutely no question about it. He knew he was going to score. And 5 minutes before half-time, Graham Taylor has that feeling of relief that Gary Lineker has brought to so many England matches in the past.
It finished 2-0, Beardsley adding a spectacular second after substituting for Lineker. Sadly, their goal-scoring partnership was on its way out, but on the best of terms. Now a repeat match against Cameroon on a bitterly cold February night, which seemed to have frozen the visitors' attacking spirit.
Stephen, Wright, Lineker. Well, what about the challenge? The referee points to the spot. He's absolutely right. The goalkeeper played Lineker, not the ball. So, as they say, this is where we came in. And the result is Stanford hat-trick. Little smile from Gary Lineker. England had the lead in the 21st minute. And it got a back flick. And Lineker and Wright went together, and Lineker is the scorer. Got a back flick from Wright, and it was the right foot of Lineker that found the touch.
On a warmer afternoon in May, England met Argentina for the first time since 1986, needing only a draw to lift the English Challenge Cup.
Pearce takes the free kick. Oh, Lineker was left alone and scored! They never marked him. And the England captain puts his side ahead with his 40th international goal. Stuart Pearce drives the free kick. It goes deep beyond Smithany's marker, and Lineker has got away from Ruggieri, and it's 1-0 to England.
The final score was 2-2, and Gary lifted his first trophy as England captain. And on that happy note, England were off on their summer holidays for a close season tour via Australia to New Zealand. We joined the game goalless in stoppage time in the second half. Could England snatch it at the last?
Forward by Thomas to Lineker. Is there time yet for England? Here's Wise. Plenty of players forward here. There's the cross, and it's in! Lineker. Gary Lineker has scored for England in what I make the 48th minute of the second half.
Another typical Lineker goal. Look at the way he leaves his marker to get goal side and stab it in ahead of the keeper. What a habit he's made of saving England in the last minute. Next stop, Malaysia, with England the first major team to visit, and one man in particular about to give them a lesson in the art of finishing.
Gary Charles moving away, Pearce takes. Header out was by Jaya. And here's a chance for Lineker. It's in! The first minute, and Gary Lineker scores for England. The debutant goalkeeper Hassan got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. And an electric start here in the heat of Kuala Lumpur for England and their captain. Wright is well forward. And there is Wright. Oh, and Nigel Clough was close, and it's been stabbed in. Lineker again. Gary Lineker gets the second for England from the corner. And that's 2-0, and they've both gone to the captain. Also need to point out, I suppose, that if England score one more, and I'm sure they probably will, it'll equal their best total under Graham Taylor so far, which is 3 against the Soviet Union. Jeff Thomas. And Lineker again! Good save by the goalkeeper. Here's Platt. Oh, and Lineker at the near post has done it! It's a hat-trick for the England captain. And in the first half here, Gary Lineker has taken his total goals for England from 41 to 44. Thomas. Pearce coming up. And David Platt's in for this. It might come on to John Salako. And the chance is there, and it's number 4. And who is it else but Gary Lineker, as John Salako chips the ball in beyond the substitute goalkeeper, and Lineker is first again with the header.
Gary's 45th goal took him past Jimmy Greaves' tally and earned him the Man of the Match award. Next we join England in Poland for a vital European qualifier. 1-0 down with just 15 minutes to go, England had to score to have any hope of getting through.
Oh, that's come off Jeff Thomas. It nearly put Des Walker the wrong side of his man. Walker did well there. Awkward for him. Lineker, Rocastle, Thomas waiting, so is Smith, so is Platt. Lineker, foul was it by Shevchik? Well, certainly a corner. Well, Lineker places the ball as though for a free kick. I rather think that Jobert has kicked it back for a corner. Whatever it is, Rocastle's going to take it. And Smith is coming to the near post. Now it is a corner. Up goes Mabbott. Lineker! Oh, yes! It's there for England! It's Gary Lineker! with 13.5 minutes to go. The corner taken by Rocastle. Gary Mabbott comes in with a header. It's the Tottenham connection here. And Lineker volleys, giving Bacco no chance. And England are back in with a chance of qualification.
So Gary's 46th goal for his country, rescuing a place for England in the finals. And it was a more relaxed experimental lineup that faced France for a friendly 2 months later, with Gary starting the second half in the unusual position of substitute, after England had taken a first half lead through Alan Shearer.
Has been a most enjoyable second half. And there's more to come. Here's Shearer. Lineker's in the middle, being joined by Nigel Clough here. Good volley. Lineker off the bar again. In. Lineker finishing it off, but Nigel Clough gets credit too. It's 2-0 to England after 73 minutes.
Despite a lack of club form, Gary proved that he could still turn it on for his country. His 47th goal putting him just 2 behind Bobby Charlton's record and ensuring that he shared the headlines with Shearer, who was making his debut. Next stop, Moscow, to play the newly named CIS.
Tony Daly, who England hope will make a few darting advances, using his speed on the right. Support for him here. Shalimov gets back to challenge Daly, who shakes him off well. There's the cross. Lineker's there, and England have taken the lead. Gary Lineker in the right place again, and Tony Daly makes the goal. A very good start here for the England team and their supporters, and this is what Tony Daly was asked to do.
It was a marvellous finish, just what Tony Daly again needed to do, got past there, his marker, a very good cross, which he doesn't always do, and Gary Lineker just half a yard, superb downward header, brilliant finishing.
It finished 2-2, and Gary's 48th goal left him 1 behind Bobby Charlton. Alas, he never equalled that record, although his best opportunity came just 3 weeks later against Brazil, when he was pulled down by the goalkeeper Carlos. Now, Gary had sent the keeper the wrong way with each of his 4 previous England penalties, but this time it misfired. Well, it's a funny old game, as somebody once said. And so, the European Championships in Sweden were to be Gary's last chance. He led the team out for his 80th appearance without having had 1 chance in the first 2 games into such a glorious England career. As England crashed out, who better to pay tribute to Gary than Bobby Charlton?
He's been a marvellous player. He's going off now to Japan, and they'll miss him in this country. I know that they'll enjoy having him there. He'll score a lot of goals there. He's a marvellous character. I'm sorry that he hasn't got the record. Nevertheless, he's been a marvellous player and he's had a great career in England. I hope it continues in Japan.
And Gary's view, Bobby deserves to keep his record. He was a much better player than me.
I think if I look back at my career, I've been fortunate with England. Things have gone particularly well for me. I think the special moments, obviously with the World Cup in Mexico, the goals I scored there, because they probably not only important to the side, but they probably changed my life. After that, I ended up going abroad to play for Barcelona, and I became not only known in England but throughout the world. So that was the most important one. Then there's other games that you remember, probably the 4 goals I scored in Spain when I was playing against the country that I was now living in, which was nice as well.
So, 48 goals in 80 games for his country. Will we ever see his like again?